Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This is your all video for 6/20/2015. Sorry to announce this, but Buddy Landell has died at the age of 53 on Monday, according to WATE TV. The cause of his death was not listed, as the story states that he died in his home. As they also cited a friend of Landell as telling them that the longtime pro wrestler was living in Chilhowie, Virginia at the time of his death. Condolences go out to his friends and family. WWE posted the following of the passing of the legend on Monday's Raw as well. WWE is saddened, or actually on their website, not on Raw itself, but on the website. WWE has saddened to learn the passing of William Answer, aka Nature Boy Buddy Landell. He made his in-ring debut in 1979, performing in regional promotions before signing in 1985 with the NWA's Jim Crockett promotion, with flowing blonde locks, glittering robes, and WWE Hall of Famer J.J. Dillon in his corner. Landell set his sights on then NWA World Champion Nature Boy Ric Flair. Though he left Crockett Promotions by the end of the year, Landell left his mark, defeating Terry Taylor at Starrcade 1985 to capture the NWA National Championship. Landell continued to compete in various promotions in Tennessee and Alabama, then returned to NWA in 1990 to face off with Flair in a battle of the Nature Boys before moving on to compete in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He also made brief appearances in WWE in 1995 and 1996. WWE extends its condolences to the Landell family, friends, and fans. Debbie Combs has worked for decades and was the mother of a female wrestler. Was also take it back. Debbie Combs is the mother of the daughter who worked for decades and the mother of. Okay, the duo actually did team against one another when Cora would wear a mask. Was Cora Combs. And you can read more about her career in her Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame bio. IFBB Fitness Pro, Samantha Sage, the WWE Tough Enough hopeful that was the last one cut by Chris Jericho on the competition special, is apparently getting another shot with the company. Sage wrote on Instagram that she's going back in September to audition to be a diva. She may be referring to the WWE Performance Center tryouts scheduled for September. Sage wrote the following in response to a fan on Instagram. Quote, I'm going back in September for an audition to be a diva. That was for the reality TV show WWE.Tough Enough. Big difference. Unquote. Wrestling from A to Z with Jim Cornette preview. There's a trailer on it. I'll post right there at that point. Former WWE trainer Tom Prichard was interviewed by Mark Madsen of newshub.com. The following are the highlights of the interview that can be read in full at the newshub.com. And that's the-newshub.com. One trainer under Iron Sheik. He commented on training under the Iron Sheik. What happened was I was working in the wrestling office when I was a kid during the summer, and there was this football player wanted to try wrestling, and every Friday before the matches, Gary Hart, he was the booker at the time, and would bring one of the boys in with him from Dallas and talk with Paul that Friday afternoon around his matches. One Friday afternoon, Gary brought the Iron Sheik, who was wrestling as Mohammed Farouk back then, and the football player came in, and I always brought workout gear with me anyways in my truck. Or trunk. And then he comments on teaming with Chris Adams. Chris was definitely a talented guy. He was a really good guy, and he could be a really intense guy, so we were both pretty young. He was probably about 2 years older than me, and I was 20 and he was 22, I suppose. Just being at that state in your career, at that young, and he just came over from England, and I came from Texas to California. We both hadn't experienced a whole lot of life yet. I think we grew in the sense that we were two young boys, and LA having a pretty good time. That's my experiences with Chris. On being part of the Body Donnas in WWE, it was terrible. It was a really bad time. It wasn't a great time for professionally or personally in my life at that time. It was a gig, and it was still in wrestling. It was terrible. I hated every minute of it. I liked working with Chris, but the rest of the gig was just really bad. Chris being Chris Candido. Skip and Zip, if you're not familiar with their names. It was my fault. It happened like that, but that's what happened. We can't go back and change it, and it was not the best time of my life or my career. You had to make the best of a situation, or otherwise I would have no job and no gig, and that's not where I was at yet. I had just come off a run and still had long hair and had to put it under a shield, and a crew cut was just really awkward. It was uncomfortable for a lot of reasons. It just wasn't a good time. That's what the Body Donnas were for. It just wasn't a good place to be. Okay. News about Jamie Noble being injured from Raw. Jamie Noble announced on Twitter that he suffered 3 broken ribs during the final segment on Raw. And you can follow Noble at twitter.com/WWE Noble. And he couldn't breathe at first. And Noble was stretchered out of the arena after he took a move from Brock Lesnar. While there's nothing fun about 3 broken ribs, I'm just happy it wasn't a head or a neck related injury. Tyson Kidd update. Undergoing surgery. WWE wrestler Tyson Kidd, a.k.a. TJ Wilson, announced by Twitter that he will be undergoing surgery. Kidd, who was wearing a neck brace in a photo that he released, will be undergoing an undisclosed neck surgery. Follow him online at twitter.com/KidWWE. Kidd has been sidelined since he worked a dark match with Samoa Joe on June the 1st. Kidd took the muscle buster from Joe and appeared to suffer a fluke injury, though Bret Hart recently called it a reckless move. Tyson Kidd's neck surgery is taking place on Wednesday, and he should be out of action for more than a year. Kidd is having the same kind of neck surgery that Stone Cold Steve Austin, Edge, and Chris Benoit had, usually with a turnaround time of 14 months or so. Kidd is not going with a temporary fix for the injury. He's doing the right thing by having the full surgery. Eric Rowan also suffered an undisclosed injury at Friday's live event from Saginaw, Michigan. He is the process of undergoing medical evaluation, as the story says on WWE.com. WWE officially on the website had no additional details about the injury. Regarding the injury that Rowan suffered at Friday's live event in Michigan, Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that it's some sort of arm injury, but is it believed to be very serious or significant? It's worth noting that despite the injury being serious, Rowan did work the next night. As seen on Raw last night, it appears that they are putting Summer Rae with Rusev. Summer tweeted after the show, at Real Summer WWE, "What's the big deal? Everyone needs a helping hand sometimes." Paige and Natalya both missed last night's Raw, as Natalya was with Tyson Kidd to prepare for surgery, and Paige was in Orlando working on Tough Enough. WWE recently filed to trademark Bray Wyatt for the first time, and also trademarked the term hard-hitting reality. We noted that Naomi tweeted that she couldn't use the Slay term anymore, and WWE has now dropped their Slay Naomi trademark. Thanks to Tara for the following NXT spoilers from the tapings in Winter Park, Florida. Been there, done that. It wasn't for wrestling, it wasn't for baseball, it was bowling. Team USA tryouts back in the day, before 1996 and what have you. I think it was 1995. Anyways, back in the day. Johnny Gargano versus Uhaa Nation was the dark match. Uhaa won with a military press, followed by a 2 standing moonsault. Episode number 1, Kevin Owens interrupted Hideo Itami promo and took credit for Hideo being injured. Finn Balor stopped Hideo from being attacked. Brawling with Evans and Rhino meets him on the stage and destroyed Finn Balor. Enzo Amore and Big Cass defeated Jason Jordan and Sylvester LaForte. Dana Brooke defeated KC. Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley defeated two local wrestlers. Finn Balor defeated Rhino. Owens tried to attack, but Samoa Joe made a save. Episode number 2. The Vaudevillains defeated the Mechanics. Baron Corbin defeated a local wrestler. Emma defeated Carmella. Tyler Breeze defeated Ty Dillinger. Joe and Finn defeated Owens and Rhino when Balor pinned Owens. Owens then challenged Finn to a fight and got one. And Finn won the non-title match and celebrated with a win. Episode number 3, Dana Brooks and Emma seemingly had a pre-tape challenge, challenging Sasha Banks to find a partner. She didn't have one, but Charlotte came out and said she'd be Sasha's partner if she got a title shot. Sasha and Charlotte won the match. Charlotte asked for her match next week, and Sasha accepted. Solomon Crowe defeated Marcus Lewis. The Vaudevillains defeated Enzo and Cass in the number 1 contenders match. Samoa Joe defeated Axel Tucker. Episode number 4 that was taped. Jason Jordan and Chad Gable defeated Elias Sampson and Steve Cutler. Eva Marie then cut a promo on the stage and said she will wrestle next week. Blake and Murphy defeated Angelo Dawkins and Sawyer Fulton. Sami Zayn came out for a promo and says he probably won't be back in the ring by the end of the year, but he's not finished. Sami said his goal is to come back better than ever, and he's coming for the NXT champion, Kevin Owens. That kind of spoils Raw, not making the program or whatever. Still holding the John Cena challenge. And your final match for that taping was Sasha Banks defeating Charlotte in an amazing main event. So she retained her title, and then they hugged afterwards. And then the following matches from Indianapolis, from Raw for Superstars, Lucha Dragons versus Bo Dallas and Heath Slater, Cesaro versus Luke Harper. Well, no results for that yet. Raw kicked off with Michael Cole, JBL, and Byron Saxton on commentary. We go right to the ring, and out come Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. We get a look back at Brock's return from last week. Fans chant Suplex City as Heyman takes the mic for his introduction. Heyman said this is Lesnar's official return to Raw. Heyman shows us a clip from 3 months ago when Lesnar attacked a cameraman and Michael Cole. Heyman says he's negotiated Lesnar's return, but Lesnar must apologize tonight. Lesnar looks to apologize and fans chant no as he stalls. He goes outside the ring and Cole is scared. Lesnar extends his hand but pulls Cole in for somewhat friendly headlock instead. Cole falls in his seat and tells someone in the headset that he's good. Lesnar returns to the ring and Heyman says Cole has accepted Lesnar's apology. Heyman issued an apology in advance next for what he's going to do with the World Heavyweight Champion at Battleground. Heyman cuts a promo on Rollins and fans get behind it. Heyman says Lesnar has a first-class, all-expense-paid trip to Suplex City and calls him a bitch. Still to come tonight, Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. Then we see Dean Ambrose walking backstage, cut to commercial. Next up, we have Kane versus Dean Ambrose. Back for the break, and they go at it. Kane gets an early 2 count, and Kane keeps control with right hands until Ambrose turns it around in the corner and fans pop. Kane rocks him and then puts the boots to him. Ambrose turns it around again and bites Kane in the corner. Ambrose with more strikes until Kane drops him with a right hand for a 2 count. Ambrose comes back with a big forearm and sends Kane to the floor. Ambrose follows up, but Kane decks him and rolls him back in the ring. Ambrose with a kick as Kane comes in. Ambrose with a top rope leg drop and knocks Kane off the apron to the floor. Ambrose launches himself over the top, but hits a boot. Kane sends Ambrose into the steel steps, and we go to another commercial. Back from that break, and Kane is in control. Ambrose finally makes a comeback after a missile drop kick. Ambrose dumps Kane over the top and kicks his shoulder. Ambrose with the elbow from the apron. Ambrose with a bounce back clothesline from the floor. They come back in, and Ambrose blocks a choke slam. Ambrose with another big clothesline as the fans cheer. Ambrose goes for Dirty Deeds when the music of Seth Rollins hit, and out he comes. Ambrose turns around to another chokeslam attempt. Ambrose dives out onto Rollins. Ambrose fights back in and kicks Rollins away from the ring. Kane takes advantage, chokeslams Ambrose off top rope for the win. Then we get steals from Kevin Owens versus John Cena from Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Cena will be here to speak later. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Rollins is backstage with Kane, wanting to get the band back together. Kane says Rollins just wants help to deal with Lesnar. Rollins goes on about how he's not scared of Lesnar and will destroy him. Rollins extends his hand as Kane walks off. Then we get hype for Reigns versus Wyatt. Primetime Players versus Ascension. We go to ring. Out comes tag team champions Darren Young, Titus O'Neil. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we see coverage of Titus winning Celebrity Dad of the Year. The Ascension are waiting in the ring. Titus comes in and cleans house for a few moments. As we see the New Age watching backstage, Victor takes Titus out and works on the arm after Connor tags out. Victor stomps away and talks trash to Titus. Victor gets more offense in the corner and a tag to Connor for double teaming. Connor unloads on Titus for another 2 count. Victor comes back in and drops the elbow for a 2 count. As Young breaks a pin, Titus finally gets a break after a big slam. Darren and Victor come in with Young unloading. Young gets a clothesline with a big throw. And Young with a running uppercut and a clothesline. Then Young with a bridge suplex for a 2 count as Connor breaks the pin. Titus takes Connor with the spine buster. Victor knocks Titus out of the ring. Victor and Young go at it. Back and forth. Young hits a gut check for the non-title win. Well, they retain the title. After the match, champions celebrate as we see the New Day mocking them backstage. Sheamus versus Roman Reigns. We go to Sheamus' entrance as the Primetime Players are still in the ring. They stare him down as he enters the ring with his briefcase as we go to commercial. Back from the break. Yeah, they're hurrying matches on Raw. So, your main event must be like a 45-minute match. We'll find out. Back from the break, and out comes Roman Reigns through the crowd. They lock up and tangle, but have to break it up. They lock it up again, and they go to the ropes. More back and forth as Reigns finally hits the big right hand and a Samoan drop. Sheamus goes to the floor for an early breather. Reigns kicks Sheamus in the face from the ring and comes out to the floor. Reigns sends him to the announce table, and they bring it back in the ring. Reigns with a big clothesline and a 2 count. Sheamus counters a move and rams Reigns in the corner. A "You look stupid" chant starts up as we take another break after more brawling and come back to Reigns unloading on Sheamus. Reigns delivers a bunch of huge blows in the corner that sends Sheamus out of the ring. Reigns goes for the big apron drop kick from the floor, but Sheamus was waiting and hits a big clothesline. Sheamus sends Reigns flying into the barrier and brings him back in for a close 2 count. Sheamus hits a series of Irish curse backbreakers for another 2 count. Reigns continues to fight Cloverleaf off, but Sheamus catapults him under the bottom rope. Sheamus finally gets the hold locked in again. Reigns breaks it and fights back. Reigns gets up, but Sheamus runs right over him. Sheamus with forearms to the kidneys. Reigns fights back with elbows in the middle of the ring. Reigns with a big slam. Sheamus runs him into elbows, and Reigns slams him for another 2 count. Reigns clotheslines him over to the floor. Reigns nails a big apron drop kick. Reigns leaps and sends Sheamus on top of the announce table. Bray Wyatt appears on the big screen to distract Reigns. Wyatt is having a tea party, making it look like he's talking to Reigns' daughter. Wyatt says they're backstage and tells Reigns to come find him. Reigns runs up the ramp, and Wyatt laughs as we see he was just talking to an empty rocking chair. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we see what just happened. Reigns is backstage looking for Wyatt, and here's him in a room. Reigns walks in, but Wyatt is nowhere to be seen. Just his voice. The room is filled with candles and photo on the wall. "Anyone but you" is written on the wall in red. We get a look at Lesnar and Heyman from earlier. Jamie Noble and Mercury are backstage. Rollins walks up, but they diss him. Rollins wants him to be on the same page. Noble says they're not playing around, and both of them end up walking off with Rollins hanging his head. Neville versus Kofi Kingston. We go to the ring. Out comes Neville. Back to commercial. Back for the break. New Day. As Kofi Kingston will be in action. Neville takes control early on. Hits a kick. Neville with a suplex before keeping Kofi grounded. They both end up on the floor. Big E and Xavier Woods talking trash to Neville. Out come the Prime Down players to even things up. Kofi says Neville into the ring apron. Both teams are sent to the back, leaving just Kofi and Neville to finish the match. Kofi argues with the referee and Neville drops him. Neville goes up top and hits a red arrow for the win. Still to come segment. Cena plus Ryback versus Mark Henry. Back to commercial. We get Tough Enough hype and preview for USA Network's Mr. Robot. King Barrett versus Zack Ryder was up next as King Barrett made his way out as Zack Ryder waits in the ring. We get a promo from earlier by R-Truth. Ryder gets in some early offense and slams Barrett on his face. Barrett cuts him off in the corner and took control. Barrett with a swinging neckbreaker and a 2 count. Ryder makes a comeback and takes Barrett down with a big clothesline. Ryder with knees in the corner and mills a drop kick. Ryder drops Barrett in the corner and goes for a Broski boot, but Barrett rolls to the floor and fans boo. Ryder kicks him in the mouth and follows. Ryder brings it back in and goes to the top, but Barrett crotches him. Barrett nails the bull hammer for the win. More hype for Cena and Owens. Cena will be here next segment. Back from the break, and we see Chicago Blackhawks with their WWE title belt. And we go to the ring. Out comes WWE United States Champion John Cena. Cena talks about Kevin Owens wanting a shot at the U.S. title. Cena calls him white hot and on a mission. Cena brings up the attack on Machine Gun Kelly last week. Cena says Owens is a great wrestler, but he's a garbage human being. Cena goes on and says he will do what a champion does. He will fight. Cena tells Owens to come get some if he wants it. And out comes the NXT champion. Owens comes out and talks about how he doesn't care what people think of him. He talks about his own look, saying people have called him out of shape and a slob over the years. Owens says this out of shape slob dirtbag beat Cena in an elimination chamber and left him laying a Money in the Bank. Owens sees how much the U.S. title means to Cena, so now he wants it. Owens wants to make it a symbol of his own excellence. Owens mocks Cena's promo and wants a real answer on the challenge. Owens says something in French, and Cena later speaks in a few different languages in his return promo. Cena sets a challenge for Battleground and says he will kick Owens' ass. We see Triple H and Stephanie McMahon backstage watching when Rollins is walking in. Triple H tells him to cut the crap. He only wants the group back because Lesnar is here. Triple H says that they believe Rollins is ready and can get the job done, but he's scared of Lesnar, which he should be because he's smart. Triple H says a smart man always has a plan B. They want Rollins to go to the ring and issue an apology. Stephanie tells him to be the better man. Rollins asks what happens if Lesnar shows up. They ask how bad he wants the band to be back together, and we go to commercial. Then we get Bella Twins versus Tamina Snuka and Naomi. Back from the break, out comes the Bella Twins with Alicia Fox in their corner. Tamina and Naomi already waiting in the ring as Bree starts off with Naomi. Tamina comes right in and takes control of Bree. Naomi comes in and keeps up the attack until she runs into Boots in the corner. Naomi gets sent to the floor. Naomi pulls Nikki to the apron and she waits for a tag. Naomi comes back in and keeps control of Bree, making her kiss her boot. More back and forth action as all divas are involved as Bree comes off the top, but Naomi hits her with a rear view. Nikki counters and sends Tamina into an accidental rear view. Nikki hits a rack attack on Naomi for the win. After the match, Alicia comes in to celebrate with the Bellas. We go to a video package featuring Roman Reigns for the new Terminator movie. Big Show versus Mark Henry. Back from the break, and Big Show is out for commentary. Mark Henry looks on as WWE Intercontinental Champion Ryback comes out for a non-title match. They lock up and go at it. Ryback ends up ducking a clothesline and taking Henry down with a shoulder. Henry goes to the floor. Ryback following him, beats him in front of Big Show. Henry comes back and sends Ryback flying into the barrier. Back to commercial. Back from a break. Ryback unloads on Henry in the corner. Henry sends him flying, but gets caught with a spine buster. Ryback readies for the meet hook, clothesline, but runs into a boot. Show gets up from commentary and cheers Henry on. Henry goes for a World Strongest Slam, but it's blocked. Ryback nails the meat hook. Ryback goes up to top and nails a big splash for the win. After the match, Show comes in the ring and yells at Henry for losing. Fans boo as Show leaves. They get more hype for Tough Enough. Coleslaw sends us backstage as JoJo and Ryback interview. Ryback talks about the triple threat with The Miz and Big Show at Battleground. He says the title means the world to him and he will fight with every breath left in his body to keep it. Ryback then says the big guy is here to stay and gets a Phoebe Moore chant going. Big Show walks up and claps, but he gets booed. He says he will expose Ryback for the fraud he is at Battleground. As they start brawling backstage, as Ryback leaves Show laying, and we'll go to commercial. Back for the break, we see what just happened with Big Show and Ryback. And we got Dolph Ziggler versus Adam Rose up next. We go to the ring. Out comes Ziggler with Lana. Adam Rose and Rosa Mendez are in the ring. Rose cut a promo and says they know what true love is. They love each other. Rose said he's going to unveil a masterpiece to the world, and then maybe everyone will finally get it. As Rose tells Ziggler and Lana to not be jealous because this is what true love looks like. Rose and Rosa kiss as Ziggler starts the match with offense, but Rose takes control. We see Rusev watching backstage on crutches as Rose stomps away. Ziggler ends up getting the win with a big super kick. After the match, Ziggler and Lana celebrate in the ring. They start making out, and we see Rusev getting upset backstage. He throws his crutches and falls down, throwing a fit. Summer Rae walks up and hands Rusev a crutch, saying Lana isn't worth it before walking off. Double J Security and Kane are backstage with Stephanie and Triple H. They encourage the three to go out and at least hear what Rollins has to say. They walk off and go as we go to commercial. Back from the break, out comes the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins by himself. Rollins says he's here to admit he's the bigger man. Admit when he's wrong. He invites Kane, Mercury, and Noble out for an individual apology. Kane's music hits and all three are coming out. Rollins calls them his foundation. He wants to make it clear this has nothing to do with Brock Lesnar. Rollins says he's not afraid of Lesnar and he will beat him at Battleground. Rollins says this is about family. He apologizes to Mercury and Noble first, praising them and saying he looked up to them his whole life and patterned his style after them. He apologized to Kane next and says he is his favorite WWE superstar of all time. Fans chant, "You sold out now." As Rollins asked if they will take him back and music about Lesnar hits, out he comes with Paul Heyman. Rollins stands with Kane and Double J as Lesnar approaches the ring, but they leave when he enters. Rollins is left all alone as Lesnar looks on from the apron. Kane pulls Lesnar off the apron as they go at it. Lesnar quickly takes Kane and Double J out. Lesnar enters the ring and Rollins attacks. Lesnar nails a huge German suplex and the crowd pops. Lesnar with another big German. Fans one more time as Lesnar hits it. Lesnar goes for the F5, but Kane runs in and attacks him. Lesnar tries to fight it off, but he gets beat down. Kane chokeslam Lesnar, and he's down. Kane goes for another, but Lesnar hits him with knees and a German suplex. Lesnar goes for the F5 on Rollins, but Kane stops it. Lesnar continues to fight off Kane and Rollins, but they get him down. Rollins wraps Lesnar's leg around the ring post while Kane hits it with a steel chair. They come back in the ring and start beating up on him some more. Lesnar is still trying to fight back, but Mercury is back in the ring now. Kane and Mercury hold Lesnar as Rollins comes flying off the top rope, and Kane with another choke slam. Rollins hits the pedigree on Lesnar. Rollins raises his title and stands over Lesnar with Kane and Mercury. Raw goes off the air with Rollins talking trash in Lesnar's face and standing tall. And what happened after Raw in Indianapolis? Dark match main event. Saw Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and John Cena defeat Kevin Owens, Kane, and Seth Rollins when Reigns blocked the pedigree and hit Cena with an attitude adjustment. And Cena hits the attitude adjustment on Rollins. And that concludes my Raw video. Superstars, results, NXT, results, spoilers for this week. So you want to be, if you didn't know, You better call me, bro.